My sister told the Massachusetts bar I wasn't really a lawyer. Then the judge stood up, grabbed my file, and walked out. The moment my sister accused me of practicing law illegally, I knew she was trying to erase my entire life with one calm smile. I sat at the respondent table inside the Massachusetts Board of Bar Overseers hearing room, hands folded so tight my fingers went numb. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead. The walls were that institutional beige that makes everything feel like a slow march toward the inevitable. My sister Victoria sat across from me. Perfect posture, neutral expression. That polite smile she always wore when destroying someone. She was 38, compliance director at North Bay Freight Solutions, a regional logistics company that moved everything from auto parts to frozen food across New England. She looked like she belonged in that room. Professional blazer, hair pulled back, the kind of person who reads fine print for fun. I looked like the problem she came to fix. Behind her sat Mom and Dad. Neither looked at me once. That hurt more than anything, Victoria said. She spoke clearly to the panel, explaining how I had misrepresented my credentials, how I had deceived clients, how she had no choice but to report me. Ethical concerns, she said. Public trust, duty to report, the kind of language that sounds responsible even when aimed straight through someone's life. Judge Lawrence Sterling presided, 71 years old, tall, with that particular stillness that comes from decades deciding other people's fates. His hands were folded on the bench. His eyes tracked Victoria like a hawk watching field mice. When Victoria finished her presentation, he nodded slowly and reached for my file. That was when everything changed. His hand paused as he opened the folder. His eyes moved faster than before, scanning left to right with increasing speed. His jaw tightened. The color drained from his face. He turned another page, then another. The silence stretched like a wire pulled too tight. Nobody spoke. Not Victoria, not the panel, not my parents. Judge Sterling closed the file with deliberate care, stood up, gathered the papers against his chest, and walked out of the room without saying a word. Chairs shifted. Someone whispered. The panel members exchanged glances. Victoria glanced around, confusion flickering across her face before she smoothed it away. She thought he was disgusted with me. She thought she had won. I knew better. My name is Brendan Hartwell, 32 years old, licensed attorney in Massachusetts since 2018. 6 years of defending workers against corporations that treated them like inventory. Every step documented, verified, earned the slow way through night classes and student loans I was still paying off. None of it mattered once Victoria decided I was a liability. See, Victoria and I were always different. She fit our family's picture perfectly. Careful, compliant, safe, the daughter who made the right choices, dated the right people, took the right job. She thrived inside systems, learning rules so she could enforce them. I asked too many questions. I took cases defending warehouse workers who got hurt on the job, truck drivers denied overtime, dock supervisors blamed for corporate cost-cutting, cases that made our parents uncomfortable at family dinners. Can't you just work for a firm? Dad asked once. Something stable? I told him I had something stable. The law. Victoria smiled that smile. It started 6 months ago, winter turning into spring, when Victoria began asking detailed questions about my license during Sunday dinners at our parents' house in Newton, how renewals worked, what reporting requirements were, whether there were audits, whether the bar ever made mistakes in their records. She framed it as curiosity, professional interest, her compliance background making her naturally inquisitive about regulatory systems. It was reconnaissance. Then in April, she asked me to review compliance documents for North Bay Freight. Just informal, she said. Look over some employment contracts. Make sure the legal language was sound. I refused. Victoria, I can't do that, I said. It's an ethical violation. If I'm advising your company, there are disclosure requirements, conflict of interest protocols. I'd need to be formally retained. Her eyes went cold for just a second. That flash you see when someone who always gets their way suddenly doesn't. It's just a favor, Brendan. It's not just a favor, it's my license, she smiled. Right, your license. After that, the questions became pointed. Was my license current? Had I ever had issues with renewals? Did I keep copies of all my documentation? Had the bar ever contacted me about irregularities? She was not gathering information. She was building a file. May came. I received a formal notice from the Board of Bar Overseers. A complaint had been filed questioning the validity of my license. The complainant, Victoria Hartwell, my sister. My hands shook as I read it. The complaint was 47 pages long, meticulous, detailed. It claimed I had never actually completed my bar examination, that my license number did not match official records, that I had been operating under false credentials for years. She attached documentation, screenshots of bar records, email chains, licensing databases, everything formatted to look official. I called the bar immediately. This is attorney Brendan Hartwell. I need to verify my licensing status. The clerk put me on hold for 8 minutes. When she returned, her voice was careful. Mr. Hartwell, your file has been flagged for review. You'll need to appear at a hearing, but my license is currently valid pending review. The hearing is scheduled for June 14th. I drove to my parents' house that afternoon. Dad answered the door. Did you know? I asked. He looked away. Victoria showed us the documents. She said she didn't want to, but she had to. Dad, it's not true. None of it. She has proof, Brendan. Manufactured proof. Mom Mom appeared behind him. Why would your sister lie? That question sat in my chest like a stone. I hired Marcus Linden, an attorney who specialized in bar defense. 54 years old, practiced in Massachusetts for 28 years, had defended 63 attorneys against disciplinary actions. He reviewed Victoria's complaint in his office overlooking Boston Common. This is sophisticated, he said. Whoever created this understood exactly what documentation the board requires. My sister works in compliance. She knows how to make things look official. We'll need counter documentation. Every piece of your licensing history, every renewal, every payment receipt, every correspondence with the bar. I spent 3 weeks gathering it. My original bar exam results, my character and fitness approval, my license certificate, renewal confirmations from 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. Everything. Marcus reviewed it all and made one phone call to Judge Lawrence Sterling. You know him? I asked. From a case 3 years ago. You were the attorney. I remembered. Spring 2021. I had defended a warehouse supervisor named Carlos Reyes, accused of falsifying shipping records at a pharmaceutical distribution center. The evidence looked airtight. Perfect timelines. Clean spreadsheets. Everything lined up to make Carlos look guilty. I spent 4 weeks going through shipping logs line by line, found discrepancies, found system edits during hours Carlos was not on site, found a pattern pointing to a third-party contractor covering losses. Presented it all methodically in Judge Sterling's courtroom. No speeches, just facts. Judge Sterling dismissed the charges. Afterward, in chambers, he told me I had done my job properly, that I followed the law the way it was meant to be followed. He remembers you, Marcus said, favorably. Judge Sterling agreed to preside over my hearing. June 14th arrived. The hearing room was smaller than I expected. Wood paneling, high windows, a table for the respondent, me, and a table for the complainant, Victoria. She arrived with our parents, dressed like she was about to deliver a keynote at a compliance conference. Navy suit, minimal jewelry. That expression she wore that said she was just doing the difficult but necessary thing. The panel consisted of 3 members, 2 practicing attorneys and a public representative. They sat to Judge Sterling's left, reviewing their copies of the complaint. Marcus sat beside me, yellow legal pad open, pen ready. Judge Sterling called the hearing to order at 9:30 a.m. Victoria presented first. She spoke for 22 minutes. Calm, measured. She explained how she had noticed inconsistencies in my professional representations, how she had cross-referenced my license number with bar databases, how the records did not align. She presented Exhibit A, a screenshot of the Massachusetts bar database showing my name, but a different license number. Exhibit B, an email purportedly from the bar stating my exam results were incomplete. Exhibit C, a licensing verification showing no active attorney named Brendan Hartwell admitted in 2018. Each document looked legitimate. Official letterhead, proper formatting, timestamps, and reference numbers. I did not want to bring this forward, Victoria said. Brendan is my brother, but public safety requires honesty. Clients deserve real attorneys. Mom wiped her eyes. Dad stared at his hands. I felt my stomach drop. The panel took notes. One member, an attorney named Patricia Drummond, 49 years old, partner at a downtown firm specializing in professional ethics, leaned forward. Ms. Hartwell, how did you obtain these records? Through standard verification channels available to the public, Victoria said. And when did you first suspect irregularities? Approximately 6 months ago. What prompted the suspicion? Victoria hesitated for half a second. He refused to provide legal consultation for my company. It seemed unusual for someone in his position. Judge Sterling's eyes narrowed. Marcus stood. Your Honor, we'd like to present counter-evidence. Proceed. Marcus presented my documentation. Original bar exam results. Character and fitness approval. My license certificate, framed and hanging in my office for 6 years. Renewal confirmations with payment receipts. He presented correspondence from the Massachusetts Board of Bar Examiners confirming my admission date, bar number, and current status. He presented tax returns showing income reported as an attorney. He presented client contracts, court filings, case records, all listing me as attorney of record. This is a comprehensive paper trail, Marcus said. Every document verified, dated, and consistent. Victoria's expression did not change. The panel reviewed everything. Patricia Drummond compared Victoria's screenshots to Marcus's documents. These are conflicting records, she said. Judge Sterling reached for my file then. That was when his face changed. He opened the folder slowly. His eyes moved across the first page, then stopped. His hand went still. The color drained from his face, starting at his forehead and moving down. He turned another page, then another. The courtroom fell silent. Not the comfortable silence of deliberation. The suffocating silence when everyone knows something is wrong, but nobody knows what. Judge Sterling closed the file with deliberate care. He stood, gathered the papers against his chest, and walked out of the room without a word. The door closed behind him with a soft click. Chairs shifted. Someone coughed. The panel members exchanged confused glances. Victoria glanced at Mom. Mom looked at Dad. Dad stared straight ahead. I sat there, hands folded, heart hammering against my ribs. Marcus leaned close. What just happened? I think he saw something. What? The truth. 10 minutes passed. The room got warmer. Someone opened a window. Patricia Drummond checked her phone. The other panel members whispered. Victoria maintained her composure, but I saw her jaw tighten. She thought the judge was so disgusted by my deception that he could not continue. She thought she had won. The door opened. Judge Sterling returned with a different file, thicker, stamped with the Massachusetts Board of Bar Examiners seal. Behind him walked a woman in her early 50s wearing business casual and carrying a laptop. This is Ellen Vasquez, Judge Sterling said, digital forensics consultant retained by the court for evidentiary review. Ellen nodded to the room and set up her laptop at a side table. Judge Sterling did not look at me. He looked at Victoria. The air shifted. I felt it. Marcus felt it. The panel felt it. Judge Sterling opened the new file and removed a document printed on security paper with a raised seal. This is the original licensing record for attorney Brendan Hartwell, he said. Verified directly by the Massachusetts Board of Bar Examiners at 10:15 this morning, he read from the document. Bar examination passed October 2018. Character and fitness approved December 2018. Admitted to practice January 2019. License number 784392. All records complete. All renewals timely. All certifications valid. No inconsistencies. Mom gasped softly. Victoria straightened but held her smile. Your Honor, the documents I provided clearly show irregularities. Perhaps there's a system error. Judge Sterling lifted Victoria's file. Ms. Hartwell, I'd like to draw your attention to Exhibit A, the screenshot of the bar database. He handed it to Ellen Vasquez. Ellen opened her laptop and pulled up the image on a larger screen visible to the room. She zoomed in on the metadata information at the bottom of the screenshot. This image was created on May 27th of this year at 11:43 p.m., Ellen said. However, the date stamp within the image indicates it was captured on November 15th, 2 years prior. She highlighted a section of code in the image properties. The date stamp was manually altered using photo editing software. The modification layers are still present in the file structure. Additionally, the formatting of this database interface does not match the actual Massachusetts Bar database interface from November 2 years ago. This current interface design was not implemented until 8 months ago. Victoria's smile faltered. Ellen pulled up Exhibit B, the email from the bar. This email header contains sender information that does not match official Massachusetts Board of Bar Examiners addresses. The domain is off by one character. Instead of massbb.gov, it shows massbeba.gov. The E was changed to an A. She zoomed in on the email routing information. The email was sent from a server located in Waltham, Massachusetts. The Board of Bar Examiners operates from Boston. More specifically, this email originated from an IP address registered to North Bay Freight Solutions. Dad's head snapped up. Ellen continued. Exhibit C, the licensing verification form, contains formatting that did not exist at the time indicated. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts did not adopt this particular verification template until this past January. The document claims to be from 2 years prior, but uses a template that did not yet exist. Judge Sterling turned to Victoria. Ms. Hartwell, these inconsistencies suggest deliberate fabrication rather than system error. Victoria went pale. I received these documents from a source I believe to be credible. What source? A colleague familiar with database management. Name? She hesitated. I'd have to review my records. You don't remember the name of someone who provided evidence this serious? Silence. Judge Sterling handed another document to Ellen. Ms. Vasquez, please explain what you found regarding the creation timeline of these exhibits. Ellen pulled up a detailed analysis. All 3 exhibits were created on the same computer within a 4-hour window on May 27th. The computer's registered user is Victoria Hartwell. The files were saved to a folder titled BH Complaint on her work laptop at North Bay Freight Solutions. The room spun. Ellen zoomed in on file properties showing Victoria's username, computer ID, and network information. Additionally, the editing history shows multiple revisions. Earlier versions contained different license numbers and dates before being changed to the final version submitted to this board. Someone was experimenting with different narratives before settling on this one. Patricia Drummond set down her pen. Your Honor, this is evidence tampering. Judge Sterling turned fully toward Victoria. Ms. Hartwell, you possess detailed knowledge of how electronic records can be altered and submitted as evidence in a formal bar proceeding. This presents a pattern indicating deliberate attempt to mislead this board. Victoria's composure shattered. I did not manipulate anything. I was given these documents by yourself, on your own computer, in a folder you created. Her mouth opened. Nothing came out. Furthermore, Judge Sterling continued, this complaint presents evidence of fraud, falsification of official documents, and filing a complaint in bad faith with intent to harm a licensed attorney's career and reputation. He closed Victoria's file with deliberate finality. I am ordering this hearing shifted to an evidentiary review of potential criminal conduct. The Massachusetts Attorney General's office will be notified. The Board of Bar Overseers will conduct a separate investigation into the source and nature of these fabricated documents. Victoria stared at the desk, blinking rapidly. Judge Sterling turned to me. Attorney Hartwell, your licensing status is fully verified and in good standing. All allegations against you are hereby dismissed with prejudice. This complaint is determined to be frivolous reckless and malicious. The room tilted. I gripped the table edge to steady myself. Judge Sterling looked back at Victoria. Ms. Hartwell, you will remain present for questioning regarding the creation of these exhibits. Failure to cooperate will result in additional charges. Mom whispered, Victoria, what did you do? Victoria did not answer. Dad closed his eyes. The panel adjourned. Marcus packed his briefcase. You're clear, he said. Completely. I could not speak. Outside the hearing room, Mom grabbed my arm. Brendan, you have to help her. I stared at her. She made a mistake. Mom said, she's your sister. She tried to destroy me. She was confused. She thought she fabricated evidence. She lied to the bar. She did it deliberately over weeks. Dad stepped forward. We're a family. We protect each other. She did not protect me. You're being selfish, Mom said. I looked at both of them. My parents. The people who raised me, who taught me right from wrong. You sat there while she tried to end my career. You believed her without asking me, without giving me a chance. She had proof, Dad said. Fake proof. And you chose her. I walked away. 2 days later, North Bay Freight Solutions announced an internal audit into misconduct within its compliance division. Victoria was placed on administrative leave pending investigation. The Massachusetts Attorney General opened a formal inquiry into falsification of official documents. Criminal charges were being considered. The Board of Bar Overseers launched an investigation into abuse of disciplinary processes. My parents called 6 times in 3 days. I did not answer. On the 7th day, I called them back. We need to talk about protecting the family name, Mom said. If this goes public, it will hurt all of us. It's already public. It's a matter of record. You could ask them to drop it. You could say it was a misunderstanding. It was not a misunderstanding. It was fraud. Brendan, please. Think of Victoria's career. Think of what this will do to her. I thought of sitting in that hearing room while my sister calmly explained why I was a liar. I thought of my parents' faces turned away from me. I thought of 6 years building a practice defending people nobody else would defend. Victoria thought of none of that when she created those files, I said. She thought of herself. She's your sister. She stopped being my sister when she decided I was worth sacrificing. Dad got on the line. You're making this worse. I'm not making anything worse. I'm letting the truth stand on its own. The truth doesn't have to destroy her. I did not destroy her. She destroyed herself. 3 weeks later, the Attorney General's office filed charges. 2 counts of falsifying official documents, 1 count of fraud, 1 count of abuse of legal processes. Victoria pleaded not guilty. North Bay Freight Solutions terminated her employment. The trial date was set for October. My parents hired a defense attorney for her. They asked me to testify on her behalf, to say she was under stress, to say it was a mistake made from genuine concern. I declined. You owe her, Mom said during one of our last conversations. I owe her nothing. She's family. Family does not frame each other for crimes they did not commit. She thought she was doing the right thing. She thought she was eliminating competition. She thought I was getting attention she deserved. She thought I made our family look unstable with the cases I took. Silence on the line. That's what this was really about, I said. Not my license, not ethics. Control. Mom hung up. August came. I received a letter from Judge Sterling, handwritten, 3 sentences. Attorney Hartwell, you conducted yourself with integrity throughout a process designed to break you. The law needs more attorneys like you. Continue the work. I framed it next to my license certificate. September. Victoria's defense team tried to negotiate a plea. The Attorney General's office declined. They wanted to make an example of someone who abused legal systems for personal vendettas. October 7th. The trial began. I did not attend. October 23rd. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. Sentencing was scheduled for December. My parents called one last time. Are you satisfied? Dad asked. No. Then what do you want? I want you to understand what she did. What you allowed. We supported our daughter. You supported a lie. And you did not even ask if I was okay. Dad was quiet for a long time. She could go to prison, he finally said. She could, and you're fine with that. I'm fine with the truth having consequences. He hung up. December 15th. Sentencing hearing. Victoria received 18 months in a minimum security facility, 3 years probation, community service, restitution for legal fees incurred by the bar and by me. She did not look at me when the sentence was read. Mom and Dad sat in the gallery, holding hands, faces blank. I sat 3 rows behind them. When it ended, I walked out into the cold December air. The city hummed around me. People moved through their lives unaware that mine had just been returned to me. My phone buzzed. A text from Marcus Linden. Justice isn't always clean, but it's always necessary. I stood on the courthouse steps and realized something. The strongest revenge is not making someone hurt the way they hurt you. It's becoming someone who no longer needs the people who once had the power to break you. I walked back to my office and opened the file for a new client. A truck driver denied overtime pay. A case nobody else wanted. The kind of case that mattered. My license hung on the wall behind me, next to Judge Sterling's letter. Both reminders that the truth is worth defending, even when it costs everything, especially then.